those small town roots, but the vision big. Every local story with the gig. From the sports park lights to the downtown glow. Hardin Local on the
Music off. Welcome, everybody. We are back. Welcome back to Hardin Local. I'm Phil Tall, and this is the third of 4 candidate interviews today leading up to the May 19th primary. I'm joined now by, and help me with it again.
Aundra.
I'll get it. I promise. I'm bad with names, though. Aundra Lett-Jackson is running in the nonpartisan primary for Radcliff City Council, a 14 candidate field running for 6 seats. It's a lot. Before we bring Aundra in, one more thank you to our 2 sponsors today, the Plumbing Doctor and Omni Design Group, both Hardin County businesses helping us bring these interviews to you. More on both in a minute. Aundra, thanks for being here. Every candidate in this race gets the same questions, same order, same time limits. So let's get to it. What office are you running for and why this office specifically?
I'm running for Radcliff City Council, and it's because I'm a resident of Radcliff, and I desire to be a voice for the people. And so this is a perfect opportunity to represent the citizens of Radcliff.
Okay, briefly, what happened in your life that led you to run for office?
After my husband's retirement from the military and we decided to make Radcliff our home, I wanted to become an intimate part of being a representative within our city.
Okay. I cut out there for a second, but I don't think you did. So we'll move on to the next question. What in your background most prepares you for this seat?
I would say because being a people person, one, grandparents being educators and beginning to learn how city government runs. And don't say I know it all, but yet I'm still willing to learn and to be able to better our community for a place, especially for us that are proud military spouses, and so that we will be able to be a stronger city within Radcliff.
If voters only remember one thing about why they should vote for you, what is it?
The one thing I would want them to remember that I will always be a voice for the people. It's not about the 6 that is sitting there and voting. We have over 22,000 residents in the city of Radcliff, and we have to represent them all. It's not about us. It's not a campaign that we begin to say it's my way or no way. You have to think about the citizen of the city of Radcliff in Hardin County.
All right, let's take a quick break. Today's election coverage is brought to you in part by the Plumbing Doctor, a family-owned Hardin County plumbing company run by Glenn and Tracy Downs right here in Elizabethtown. Over 20 years, serving E-Town, Radcliff, Fort Knox, and Hodgenville. Fully licensed and insured, 24/7 emergency service, and a 10% labor discount for military, first responders, and seniors. Look, showing up to vote on May 19th is one way to take care of your community. But also, calling your neighbors when your water heater goes out is another. When your pipes go, call local. Call 765-PLUM, PLUM. That's 765-PLUM. The Plumbing Doctor. Experienced, reliable, and affordable. All right, let's get back to it. First 90 days, if you win, what's the first concrete thing you'd do in office?
In the first 90 days, I'm only one person, so it would have to be collaborative that all would be in agreement. But one thing I would like to see is that we have a little bit more concern for the military, especially our aging ones in our community. We have a lot of our disabled veterans that are 80 and in 90s. So therefore, to look at some things to be able to engage and be able to go cut their yards, trim their trees, or do something in that manner. And we've got a lot of young people that is a part of our organization, which is the Disabled Veterans of Radcliff, 156. We can use some of those youth to be able to go out and do some of those things, especially in the summer.
Yeah. Got to take care of the veterans, right?
That's right.
That's right. Is your campaign self-funded, donor-funded, or is it a mix?
It's self-funded.
Okay. And where should voters go to learn more about your campaign?
They would have to come to me. I mean, they can go to one thing. They could go and look at Where's This Woman? I'm represented there a few months ago. You could go to the Disabled Veterans 156. You could go to the State Department where I have just left as the past state commander. You could go to the national level for the disabled veteran. I'm very much involved with our veterans and our seniors. Those are the two hearts I tell people that I deal with on a daily basis.
Okay.
Or they can call me at 270-317-3827. I can personally answer any questions that they would like to know.
Okay. Well, make sure to share that number and also to share the Wednesday Woman article on the comments of this after it's over on the post so that people can find that. And if you don't mind, I love the passion, but when you get passionate, shaking the computer a little bit so it's, kind of jingling the screens, maybe try to...
I probably should have put it on the desk. Maybe I need to do that.
Yeah, if you want to take a second and do that real quick.
Yeah, let me switch that because it's on my lap.
I'd rather you be passionate and shake the screen than the other way around.
Probably should have been at a table. I'm not at home. I'm out of town, actually. I'm not even in my comfort zone.
Oh, that's okay. While you're doing that, I'll go ahead. I got another quick break to pay the bills real quick. Before we get into the Radcliff Council specific questions, a big thank you to our second sponsor today, Omni Design Group. Omni is a second generation builder based right here in Elizabethtown. My good friend Josh Branningham and Corey Jewell, born and raised in Hardin County with deep family and business roots in the county. They handle new construction and remodeling across residential and light commercial. Any size home, any size reno. No project is too big, no renovation is too small, and no idea is too out of the ordinary. They're the team that built the first storage container commercial structure in Hardin County over at Heartland Mini Golf. If you've got a build, a remodel, or an outside the box project rattling around in your head, call or text Corey Jewell at Omni Design Group 270-769-8339. That's 270-769-8339. Corey at Omni Design Group, locally owned, locally built, custom thinking. All right, let's get into these race-specific questions. And like I said, you have 2 minutes on each one, but if you want to spend less time on one, you can spend more time on another one.
Okay.
And so we're going to start with the council's role versus mayor's role. And Radcliff, the mayor proposes the budget and runs the day-to-day. The council approves ordinances, confirms appointments, and votes the budget up or down. In plain language, how do you see the council's job? What should a council member be doing every week that a resident doesn't necessarily see?
I think they should. I think they should be out in the community, talking to some of the residents, not just during election time, because during election time, you're really in a hurry and you're rushing. So I think we need to be a little bit more involved with these over 22,000 residents. Choose an area. You don't have to choose an area on once a week. Do it monthly basis. I mean, during the time that we're not in snow season, but really get out there and get involved with the citizens themselves and see what their concerns are, because they really have concerns. And that's where we need to be able to take back and be able to have those residents' names, addresses, and then invite them also to city council meeting and to express their concern.
Okay. Well, you spent about a minute on that one, so you have an extra minute on one of the other questions. The next question will be the city budget. Where do you push? So the Radcliff city budget, I think, is currently around 18 million, with the biggest line item being the police. It's around 6 million, fire at around 3 million, public works at around 1.6 billion, and parks and rec around 1.5 million. When you're sitting on council and that budget comes across your desk, what are you looking at first? Where would you push for more investment? Where would you hold the line? And what would voters in your neighborhood notice if you got your way?
Okay, one I would say with the police department is interesting. That's one of the questions I just talked with the chief of police a couple of weeks ago. Right now, as you talk about the budget for the Police Department, they are 6% under their budget for 2025 in the fiscal year. We are short. I asked the chief about 2-3 weeks ago. I asked him, where were we with our police? We're understaffed right now. We got someone in Police Academy that is their training now. But being 6% under, they need the funding there so they can be able to have, we don't have enough policemen there. I want Radcliffe to stay safe. I want to feel safe in the city of Radcliffe. So therefore, I believe that the police will be my first choice to saying they need all the monies that they're put in for so that we will be able to hire. Because once it seemed like we've been hiring, and lately I began to see in the last couple of years, I began to see that when they get through their training of their mandated time to be there on the police, they go to the sheriff's department because they get more funding there. Our policemen really are underfunded. When I sit in Radcliffe, and 2020, we had Councilwoman Tanya Seabrook to pass away. And I was the 7th one that was on that list and they voted me in. So I sit there 2 years. So I got to see some things that really surprised me that this is all the money that they're making. That is really under I believe a salary that our Radcliffe police should be making. I think it needs to be an increase.
Okay. That one you spent about 2 minutes on, but you still have an extra minute. And if you do like one of the last questions for a minute, I can limit it to you. You could spend 4 minutes on this question because I know you want to spend more time on this one. So let's get to it. This one's about Fort Knox and Radcliffe identity. Radcliffe, it's about 22,000 people living right next to Fort Knox, and military families rotate in and out every few years. That's both an economic engine and a unique community dynamic. As a council member, how do you think about serving both long-term residents and military families who might only be here 3 years? And are there specific things the council can do to make Radcliffe feel like home faster for new families in the military?
Well, that is my favorite question here. I came to Radcliffe September 19th. I've spent more time in Radcliffe than I've spent in my home state, which is Alabama. I came to Radcliffe because I married my husband in June of 77 because he was stationed at Fort Knox. Surprisingly, most people ask me the question, how did your husband spend over 20 years in the military and only had one stateside duty, and that was Fort Knox? So therefore, we are long-term. My husband came there in 76, and like I said, we got married in 77. We left from 80 to 83 to Germany, but 83, we came back to Fort Knox. 86, he left, went to Korea, came back in 87. And at that time, we decided in 88, March 10th, that we would purchase a home. So we are homeowners. Purchased our home for a 30-year mortgage, but paid it off in 20 years. So therefore, we are long-term. And I have so many that I can tell you that have come from Alabama, come from Mississippi, come from Tennessee, that are long-term. So when it comes to the military, everyone is not short-term. Maybe when they get stationed somewhere else. But I asked the question to someone over a year ago, if the military ones that are retired like we are, everyone would pick up and have to go back to their home like Abraham them had to do in the Bible, Radcliffe would be no more. Because I can guarantee you 75% of Radcliffe are military retired, because I know we are part of the disabled veterans and the disabled veteran auxiliary. And in that, they're all military related. So therefore, I believe that we're already doing a lot of work with Fort Knox because that's where we shop at. That's where we do a little eating there, because we are military retirees that are in Fort Knox and Radcliffe.
Okay. Well, you didn't go over on that one, so you still have your full time on all your other questions. Okay. And we'll move on to the ordinance and quality of life. Recently, Radcliffe ordinance work has included things like that 3% short-term rental tax hike, code enforcement, and updates to city services. What's a specific ordinance or policy area you'd push the council to take up in the next 4 years? Something you hear about from neighbors that you think, or yourself, that you think the council should actually do something about?
I think they should look at, I'm from Alabama again. I think they should look at, now we're seniors and they only give us a 10%, I believe, discount on property evaluation that we pay. I think we should be exempt. I think that's something that Hardin County Physical Court, Alabama, when you become 65, you are done with taxes. I don't know why we're still taxed here. So that would be something that I would want to discuss not only with City Council, but also with the Physical Court and with the PVA. Why is it that when we get 65 and we have lived here so long that we have to continue to pay property tax? That's important to me. Like I said, I'm from Alabama. So Alabama doesn't charge us. If you are a homeowner and that is your primary residence, you are done with tax.
It's an interesting take. I've always thought like, yeah, property taxes in all forms, make it to where home ownership is a little bit, not quite home ownership. Because if you don't pay those taxes, you don't own that home.
Yeah, man. I'm free and clear.
Just get back to it. The council doesn't operate alone. And so I already asked the question once. So where do you think that Radcliff needs stronger working relationships, and how would you as a council member actually build them?
I would want to see, I'm so sorry, I'm just a military pawn. I would like to see the council working closer with our military community, because I think there is a breakdown there. I don't think that many of them on council really understand the military community. And also, like my children, I have 4 adult children that they would call military brats. They have struggles that other kids doesn't have. Because when dad is gone, I'll never forget when my baby was maybe about 18 months, 2 years old, and his dad had to go to Korea. He cried night after night that he wanted his dad. So I think there needs to be a bridge there with our kiddos. And like I said, all mines are grown now, but we still have, like this is military month, wearing purple. Get more involved with our military kids. There are many things that can be done, even at the Current Community Center. I look at even thinking about they are 12% under their budget. So therefore, there are things that could be done there to bring the military community or those children in so that they can feel loved and that they're not lost because their mom or their dad is away from home. So I would like to see a bridge there.
Well, we thank you for your time and really appreciate you sitting down with us today. I'm sorry about the crash. If I lost any of the video data, I may have to have you come back on and we'll do another one at another time. But I'll check and see if I can gather all the video files and combine them together. Then we'll still be able to, share them with other people. And so our viewers, if you missed where voters can learn more, we'll drop that in the comments right after the stream ends. Now, before we get and close out the stream, I'd like you to take 2 minutes and do like a closing speech, why people should vote for you, and or whatever you want to talk about. And then after we're done with that, I'll close us. Whenever I end the stream, please stay on for a minute so we can talk off stream.
Okay. Well, my name is Aundra Lett-Jackson, a native of Evergreen, Alabama. Been married to my husband, Larry Jackson, retired Master Sergeant from the United States Army. Been married 49 years, June the 4th. Looking forward to celebrating 50 years of marriage. Most people look and say, you don't look like you're old enough to be married that long. Yes, I'm getting ready to celebrate my 70th birthday next year. So therefore, I'm old enough, just was a young bride. So I believe that I can be a voice for the people, as I shared in the beginning. So therefore, voting for Aundra Lett-Jackson, number 6 on the ballot, will bring you results. And you can always call me at 270-317-3827. That is so important to have a connection with your residents, that you do not shun them, but be able to answer the question. I might not have an answer, but I can find that answer out for you. And always I will be a voice for the people of Radcliff, Kentucky, and also for Hardin County. Thank you.
I muted myself on accident. What was that phone number again?
317-382.
I put it in the comments. That way, if anybody does want to reach out and learn more about your campaign, they know how to do it.
And the Wizard Woman will be in the News Enterprise.
Yeah, I'll find that article and I'll link it to it. But yeah, if you're watching and you can't find the comment because it's a different post, you can go to News Enterprise and look her up as Wednesday's Woman, and you can learn more about her there. So one more time, I'd like to thank today's sponsors, the Plumbing Doctor at 765 Plum, Plum, for 24/7 Hardin County Plumbing, and Omni Design Group. This is the number you were looking for. Call or text Corey Jewell at Omni Design Group, 270-769-8339. That was 270-769-8339 for your next build, remodel, or custom project. This interview stays archived on our Facebook page for the next 30 days and YouTube channel. Share with anyone voting on May 19th. We will publish an edited version of it, but I will download the live stream, both live streams, as long as I still have the first one, and I will keep them in case anybody wants to pull the raw data. Like, in this day and age, people that do news, they always get accused of editing videos the wrong way. Well, I'm saving all this data. That way, if anybody wants to say, oh, you didn't edit it right, it wasn't fair, well, you can get that raw data from us. I'll keep it archived long term, even after Facebook deletes it. So we thank you for joining us. Up next at 3:15, Vincent Thompson, who's running in the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate, will be joining us. That'll be our final interview today. So stick around, and don't stick around. Just come back at 3:15, and we'll see you then.